we took a hit. We, thinking we'd try and help them out. It's going to happen at some point. You can have all these great clients and then bang, can undo all of that in a second.
What is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch up with people about it.
Chris Sweeney, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We were just talking off air about Jaeger bombs and all sorts of weird stuff. So I think we pressed record at the right time.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. Super interesting. Obviously, your business partner Cam, you guys run CNC Renovations together, and I'm kind of interested to talk a little bit about that partnership aspect as well and how that works and how it doesn't. Because a lot of people say that you should, in the construction game, you should never get into a partnership. So let's talk about why maybe it's a good idea. Maybe you can convince me.
I'm an advocate for sure.
Yeah. So, but before we get to that point, let's talk a little bit about you, where you kind of grew up. Are you an Auckland boy from get-go?
No. I'm from a little place called Martingi. So
Where's that?
it's in between Hamilton and Cambridge.
Cool.
Yeah, shout out to Martingi.
Shout out.
So yeah, grew up there on a farm. Dairy farmers would call it a lifestyle block. It was 40 acres.
Right.
So yeah, loved the farm life. Small little country town. Very hardworking parents. Sort of pride my work ethic on them. Learned what to do a lot from them. Dad's a valuer, mum's a nurse. You won't find a kinder person than my mum. I'd challenge you for that.
Yeah.
Did all my schooling down there.
Small school? Like how big is the school?
Oh yeah, Martingi was 5 classrooms. Still mates with a bunch of the people from there. Just a close network, good people. And then went to St. John's College in Hamilton, right next to the university there.
Yeah.
Another small school. It's sort of the Sacred Heart College equivalent of in Hamilton.
Okay.
Did the full term there. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Then sort of fell into building. Loved it really from the get-go. Like with all the pain as well that comes with the apprenticeship. But went straight into building, straight out of school.
So you so do you finish? Do you finish school first?
Yep.
Cool.
Finished 7th form. Yep.
And then you just knew straight away. Did you do like woodwork or anything like that at school?
A little bit. I did all the subjects like economics, which it's probably a bit of a waste of time, but did all of that. I love school. Was more there for sports, I guess. It was rugby, first 15, athletics.
Cool. What position?
Rugby, I was started out on the centres. I was this size when I was about 13, 14. So,
same as me.
Yeah. A big boy then, and then I thought I'd keep growing, but I should have just looked at my family and gone, "You're dreaming." So started in the centres, and then moved down to sort of fullback, wing, halfback eventually, where the natural progression of my size goes.
Yeah. I was going to say halfback, but then when you're like obviously teenager, you might have been like one of the big guys. You never know.
I was pretty much exactly this size. So stayed the same.
And what did you think when you were at school and you're like, I'm going to become a builder? What did you think being a builder was? Did you think they were like, oh, these guys are creaming it, man, heaps of money, or like, look at their flash utes? So what was your kind of vibe of becoming a builder?
Oh, I always liked making things, like figuring things out, always intrigued me. I didn't really want to go study. I didn't see, it's just not for me. I sort of thought, earn and learn, get in with a good company, could set myself up, then always wanted to travel. So, saw that as a, don't carry a debt from university. So, that suited me quite well. So,
Smart.
Did that. Started off with a lot of spec homes. We did steel framed houses. Really interesting. Good fun. Pretty pretty basic. It was, if I drove down the street now of where we do the houses, I couldn't tell you which ones we built. It's
Right.
just different coloured front doors, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But good, yeah, good learning.
Was it like a group home builder, or
It
did you
was.
guys contract to them?
Yeah, it was. Yep. So started
Okay.
off the first year, there was 74 staff.
Oh, wow.
They,
That's different.
Yeah, they had a building company, a plastering company, painting company, foundation company, and they manufactured the steel frames as well.
So when you did your, what was it like as an apprentice, like walking onto the site first day? Was it nerve-wracking or?
Yeah, pretty daunting. Yeah, you just sort of, yeah, you have no idea. You're just a very small fish. But luckily there were some good guys there, took me under their wing. I was eager, I was keen to learn always. So sort of knew my place, which yeah, I feel like counted for a lot, knowing your place early on.
Yeah. Not too cocky.
Nah, there's no time for that. I guess you can be confident but standoffish and shy at the same time. Be yourself. That's what I've always done. So yeah, that was really good. We did the company sort of kept halving in size each year, which was interesting. So we ended up making the steel frames ourselves in the factory, ran that for a bit. And then in the last year, I was the only apprentice there. There was about 7 of us. So I saw it as a sinking ship, and sort of the boss was a bit dodgy. There were a few things going on, which, wanted to get out of there.
Right.
So then got more into a higher end sort of renovation company. So yeah, learnt. It's quite good. Sort of learnt best of both worlds throughout the apprenticeship.
And so, okay, so then you went work for that guy. So I assume it'd be very different than because you're just kind of used to like, it was all about speed. It was all about getting it up as fast as you can. Now you're working for this other company being like, it's all renovation work and all custom. And what was that like?
Very different because, used to doing new builds where, everything's plumb, square, level. You're building it from scratch where, you go into a renovation and you're, whoa, a bit overwhelmed. How do I make this work, And then that's where you have to find a happy medium, a lot of the time to make it work. So really good, learnt a lot. It sort of felt like a different apprenticeship in some ways.
Yeah.
Because it was, a completely different way to build.
So did you get qualified there with them, or what was?
Got qualified, with the second company. Literally left the day after my ticket came through to go overseas. I was always pretty keen to go, travel. Small place, Hamilton. A lot had happened in the previous year, so just felt needed to get away. A couple of mates had gone, so gone overseas. So
Where did you go?
Did the generic thing, go to London, find yourself, do all that.
Did you find yourself?
Grew up. I was 21, so there was didn't know who I was really. I thought I did, but
nothing to find.
nothing to find. Yeah. Lights are on now, so but it was great. Sort of went from a apprentice to a qualified builder in the UK. So they didn't know. I went earning more pounds than dollars overnight, sort of thing. So
you're just turning up being like, I'm qualified. Tons of experience.
It was. Kiwi Aussie builders, they're just sought after over there. It's. You can see why. You're not having 1,000 cups of tea a day. You're just ripping in, going for it.
Is that the culture over there? Is that with the local guys? So a few UK listeners. So feel free to rip in. So are they pretty lazy?
Already? Yeah. Nah, they were good sorts. But it is a different setup there. In all honesty, you just go here. Because that's the mantra. You're always competing here. But it was definitely slower.
Just like the culture was just a bit like you just to take your time a little bit more with things.
Yep, definitely.
So they love Kiwis and Aussies because you guys come in, you good work ethic, good attitude, just get stuck in.
There
Skills.
was never any interviews there. It's hey, I've got a mate and he's on a plane, he's coming over. Sweet, can you start Monday? That was always the way.
Cool.
So
So what did you work on there while you're making the big bucks? What sort of work?
I wouldn't call it big bucks. It was more than apprentice wage, but I worked on the 2012 London Olympics when I first got there. We
Cool.
company called Container City. So we basically turned 40-foot shipping containers into, this was an office, it was the BBC Media Centre. So really interesting, completely different to what I've been doing, but really, really interesting. So it was 112 containers that would come in one by one, be cut up differently, and then be sent out to site to, like big kids Duplo, basically. You're craning these containers you've prefabricated into a big building. So that was quite eye-opening, more commercial side of things. Airport-like security every day going in there. But it was awesome. So it looked right at, the Olympic Park in Stratford there. So that was my first couple of years, I guess, there. And then finished up that contract and then got more into the London bunkers, the loft conversions, all of that, the more residential side of things, which, was awesome. Good fun, Worked with pretty much Kiwis and Aussies there as well.
Was that with like, because I know a lot of guys I've talked to done that as well for like developers, whatever. They come in, you turn them around pretty quick and then get
Yeah.
them renters in there or flick them off or something. Is that like that?
Nah, these were big bougie renovations.
Right, okay.
So huge, like sort of some went down, 3 levels below ground level for wine cellars,
Cool.
all sorts. Yeah.
Okay, so they were like proper, like kind of more premium
Yes.
type projects.
Yeah.
And what were some of the challenging aspects of doing that, coming from the commercial stuff and?
Oh, I guess, instead of, was always used to going out and, big farm sites and that, but this was going down. So, you're propping, you're waterproofing, you're looking after, you're taking care of a lot different things than you're used to. And still getting used to the culture there as well. You're not just working with Kiwis. There's all different. Like I thought Auckland was a big city before going there, and then wow, there's houses everywhere here. It's overwhelming, but super cool.
And what did you like change heaps when you're over there? Because you come from a small town, then you go to Hamilton, which you think is big,
Thought it was
and
huge.
then when Hamilton's the big smoke, and then you kind of go over to London. Did it like change you a lot while you were over there?
Yeah, it was pretty naive. To no fault of my own. Just you don't know what you haven't seen. So it changed a lot. Yeah, grew up a lot, which is so good for you. It's a pretty quick way to grow up. You're out fending for yourself. There's no one around there. You've got an orphan family basically of all expat travelers. So yeah.
So you go there a boy and you come back a man.
Yeah, depends who you ask. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
And so how long? Okay, so how long after that were you there for before you came back?
so we did 4 years there, and then met my now lovely wife Jen over there.
Cool.
Go to the other side and meet a Kiwi. Works out well. We weren't ready to go back, so we did a year in the Netherlands in Amsterdam.
Okay. Tell me more. What was that like?
Awesome chapter. Great chapter. The Dutch. I learned so much from the Dutch. Just direct, straight up. I completely live like that. Just get to the point. Let's sort everything out.
Everyone's like Max Verstappen. Do you follow F1?
Oh, I love Max Verstappen. Yeah. Just blunt brutality. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, exactly where you stand. He's the epitome of Dutch people, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand because I'm from South Africa, so we obviously, we're from Africa, but a lot of us have that Dutch blood. Yeah. Especially the Afrikaners have those Dutch blood in them.
Definitely. Yeah.
You can kind of see where it comes from. It's like
it just works. Yeah. So I've always really respected that. Just a direct line. Moved there. Just after a knee operation that didn't go too well, so the transition wasn't how we saw it. It was hobbling around, but then eventually found work through met a Kiwi architect out on the beers one night. Said, "Oh, I'm looking for someone to run some jobs," and you think nothing of it. which is exactly what I was looking for. After struggling to find work, and then turned out to be this perfect job working on 300-year-old canal houses, converting them. So yeah, just by meeting a Kiwi out somewhere randomly.
So did you have to be on the tools, or you just sort of like more
Yep.
on the tools, back on it?
Yeah, it was a pretty So he had these clients, full conversions, and then basically set up a team there through him and people that we met as well. So it happened pretty quickly, but it was ideal, really. Just meant to be.
That's awesome. And then after that, you came back.
Yeah. The year there was done, so time to
came back. Brought your girlfriend with you at the time. Was she your girlfriend then, or you guys married?
Yep. She was my girlfriend then. Yep. So yeah, time came to come home and get real. So Hamilton didn't put up much of a fight. So yeah, we ended up in Auckland. Had a few mates living in Auckland at the time. So since then.
Where was your wife from?
She's from Auckland.
Auckland as well, right? Okay.
Yeah. Auckland, born and bred. So
cool.
Yeah.
So here you are, and now
yeah.
Auckland's small all of a sudden, coming from London.
No, it's still big for me. Yeah. Still getting used to it. But, so that was about 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So.
And then how did you then cross paths with Cam, who's your business partner now?
Yes.
How did you guys come in contact?
A Toyota Hilux.
So,
yeah. Happened pretty quickly. I went, wanted to get back and get set up pretty quickly, knew what I wanted to do. So first thing was to buy a vehicle. So found this Toyota Hilux, which, you miss the good old Hilux being away for a while. So yeah, that was got the classic white Hilux, and bought off this guy who was moving back to Wales, and he said, "Oh, you're looking for work?" I said, "Yeah, I just need to get a ute. We'll get set up." He said, "Oh, I'll give this guy Cam a call. He's an awesome guy. Known him for ages." So went and met him the next day, and yeah, it was like got on really well. So I was working for him for the start. Worked really well. Yeah, just great values, great setup. So probably worked for about a year, and then we decided I was trying to do my own thing as well, battling away, and then decided to merge and combine forces.
Together. Yeah. Very cool. I love that. I love the so many builders have come on here that they've kind of done the London thing. I think it's so valuable, like a lot of young guys or people at school finishing up. Such a cool way to go about it. Like, get your trade and you're off. Go overseas, live over there for a bit and experience life. Like, it's a great way, because if you're more like a white collar, you have to get a university degree, and then you have all this debt. Then you have to justify now paying go overseas.
Yeah.
I think it's just the trade is just such a better way of doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. It was, no regrets. It was just, would highly recommend it.
Yeah. Epic. Okay. So you come back, you try and do your own thing. Cam's over there. He's doing his thing. What made you guys decide that you guys would be a good match? And did you guys have opposite skill sets? Like, what was sort of the thinking around that?
Yep. So he had the runs on the board. What he had going on, I really respected. I really, really liked. I guess it's the old bull, young calf sort of thing. So I was the sort of 10 years younger. I had architects in mind, to target the architectural builds. I'm always ambitious, always want to be challenged, want to do something challenging. So I thought, together with the architectural side and his runs on the board, good name, good clientele, then it was just a good idea. So never looked back. Started that. Met up with some good architects early on. Got an opportunity, did an amazing build. We nailed it. Clients are happy. They were happy. It just ran smoothly. It was great. So then led to another one, and then.
Cool. Who was the architect?
Matter Architects.
Oh, cool. John.
John Smith.
Yeah.
So
love John.
great man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got on really well with Adam and John. It was sort of collectively.
So did you know John before then, or no? Did you just cold
No,
call?
so I knew Adam, who worked for him, through a mate. Had a beer, said love the work you do, and then led to pricing a job, led to getting a job.
Wow, well, mate, you should have more beers. You get a lot of opportunities coming over these beers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely.
You should tell that to your wife.
Yeah,
You'd be like, hey, look back at all the good things that's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's been over a beer.
Why
I'm
have I
off.
never thought of that? You're a genius, Brad.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll send you invoice later for that
Yeah.
piece of brilliant advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so John, amazing guy, amazing architect as well.
Yes.
So you're doing some work for him. What I want to know is, so when you started working with Cam, how does that work, like practically? So he's already got a company. He's making money. Then you come in and you work for him.
Yeah.
Do you have to buy into the business, or how does that work?
Yes. So what happened was he had his company. So set up a new company, CNC, transferred the shares from that to which I bought in. So 50-50.
So he was okay. So he was kind of he had trust in you.
Yep.
From now on, did you have to do the architectural build first to give him comfort, or was it before that even?
Nah, I guess I said, he was probably the more skeptical one, and I was saying this is what's going to happen, and then didn't have the architectural thing lined up at that stage.
So he was just like, okay, it's just a little bit of faith. You guys jump into this new business, and I guess he's probably got. I still got my other business. If this goes to waste,
yeah,
still just go back.
It was all in. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, I was all in from the start. Like all or nothing with everything.
And did he have any equipment and stuff like that he brought into the business, or was it just like at that point it was just like we're starting this company and
there are a few. Oh yeah, we've got our tipper truck. Well, which he had, now half mine. So yeah. So
mate, you're a good negotiator.
Yeah.
But obviously you've in the end it's worked out. You've pulled your weight.
Yep.
In terms of bringing your side. That's good. I'm like saying all the stuff now, creating all this strife. Tomorrow you guys are fighting.
Nah.
So talk to me about, because a lot of people are saying that, I'm just joking by the way, but a lot of people are saying that partnerships are hard. I owned also part of a home building business. It wasn't like that. Me and my business partner got along real well. I sold out of that. It wasn't because of that. But I just didn't have enough time. But a lot of people recommend against it for various reasons. I think a lot of it is, builders end up, owning a house and then, or whatever, property. And then obviously when things go wrong in the business, then they can pull some money from the house. And then once you have two, partners, then things get complicated. And whose money are we grabbing from whose house are we, refinancing this time? That's just one example, but there's various other examples of why it could be a good or bad idea. How's it working for you guys?
Great. There's no egos, well, certainly not from his side. He's it just works, he's very respectable, just has this great aura about him. So we think of quite different things, so it's quite good, you're pricing something, you're thinking of something, you're getting feedback off each other, you think of completely different things. So it just works. We've usually got, in an ideal world, we've got, our own project on at a time. And then, we seek advice off each other quite a bit, talking day to day all the time. Every now and then we're on the same job, which is nice. That's awesome.
Cool. So talk to me about the structure of the company. So like you said already, so you guys always try to have a couple of jobs going at a time. You run one, he runs the other.
Ideally, yeah. Yep.
And you guys are both still on the tools or no?
Yep. Still on the tools a fair bit. The last little bit we have been, with downturn of work. So, trying to be on the tools as much as possible. Couple of years ago, not really on the tools at all. It's depending on the workload, but sort of that's how it is at the moment. Love being on the tools. It's often enjoy a bit of both. If I was just in the office, 3 days in a row, I'd go mad. Just can't do it. But a bit of both is always quite healthy. I've, I guess, naturally inherited a bit more of the admin side. he's a bit of a boomer, so yeah, not as good on the. He won't mind me saying that.
Yeah.
Not as great on the programs and stuff, but yeah, it works pretty well. Yeah, yeah.
And you guys have a team like employees, or is it contractors?
All
How do you?
contractors. Yeah, yeah.
How big is your team at the moment?
So there's seven of us at the moment. So yeah, we're down quite a bit on what we used to be, but sort of running quite a lean operation at the moment.
Yeah, like most builders are at the moment. in
Yeah,
Auckland.
yeah, which is all good. Yeah, a lot more hustling, lots of pricing at the moment, but yeah, lots of time wasters and on the fence people. But yeah, that's just how it is at the moment. It's yeah.
And so, give me an idea of the guys you have with you at the moment. Are you have any apprentices or anything? Are they all qualified?
Yeah, we're pretty low on apprentices at the moment. They've all two at the moment. No, one. Yeah, two have just been qualified. So just one apprentice at the moment. We're about to bring on another one shortly. Just weighing out whether it's a fresh out of school or first year apprentice.
Have you guys worked with any like more mature apprentices, like older guys?
Yep, we've had a couple. Yep.
And how do you find the difference?
It's always depends on the person, you know. It doesn't really matter. Like 9 times out of 10, the mature apprentices are going to nail it because they've, some have been, an accountant or a valuer, but they're just over that life and they just want to, be on site, get around the guys, and so that works really well. But then if you've got a young person out of school with an amazing attitude that everything aligns, and they're just the same.
Yeah. So with your business at the moment, like how do you guys generate your work? Like how do you get inquiries or like leads coming through, and then what type of work sort of coming across your desk at the moment?
At the moment, it's all sorts. So we through architects we probably half the work, word of mouth quite a bit. Obviously Cam's got quite a good reputable past. People return clients come back quite a bit. Advertising not so much. Going to be out there a bit more.
Yeah,
probably been saying that for a little while, but yeah. And then we've picked up. We do a bit of work at Eden Park. Nothing massive, just bits on the help fill some voids, that's more sort of fun, I guess. It's
what sort of stuff is that? Is that like event based stuff or what?
We did the glamping domes there a few years ago. World's biggest deck, and then a couple of glamping domes, and then a little bit. So they had a bunch of concerts, so we converted coaches' boxes so that they could have a corporate team in there for the shows. Just little random bits here and there, which
it's a very interesting thing to get into, like because I interviewed the Melbourne builder over in Melbourne when I was over there, and his like a big part of his business now has grown into that events business.
Yeah.
So he does all the F1. I don't know if you've seen it, but they do. When the F1 comes to Melbourne and stuff, he like this year he did the big Ferrari like setup,
the glamour tent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an understatement, the glamour tent. But it's very awesome stuff that he does. But it all started with like stuff what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
And it's sort of definitely probably something worth exploring and expanding on, if there's opportunities like that, because if you're already comfortable doing that and you can get the guys in and out quick and you understand the process, then you can just replicate it for other events.
Yeah, it's building trust like anything, and then building up a good name and then doing it over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you guys are a lot of architecture work as well. And then with the architects, it's just about networking, right? You just got to be out there and touch base with them. And
exactly. Like we love doing cool shit. Like that's, what builder doesn't, but the bigger the challenge, the better, it's, you always want to be pushed, always want something, a good challenge, keeps you going. It, always improving. So plus it's figuring it out, there's, like I said earlier, there's figuring things out I've always enjoyed doing that. So
well, you guys have worked on like really epic projects. Been awesome awesome projects. That's why I always wanted to get you guys on, because
Yeah, yeah,
I always look at what you guys worked on, and it's like, yeah, it's just like the cool shit, like you say.
yeah.
Now, with your team and everything, how do you guys sort of, from your point of view, how do you attract good culture? Good staff, and then how do you cultivate your culture
Yeah.
to make sure that there's like a good vibe and
Yeah, leading from the top. So, we get good vibes off Cam, off everyone else that we've had. With everyone that's been with us have been around for years. The only people we've lost, is when we haven't had as much work. So pretty hard to see them go. But if we had enough, there's no way we'd let them go. But we'd usually attract staff organically, mates of people or someone that someone knows. And we've had some builders before who were awesome builders, but just didn't click with the team, which was like, look, sorry, it's the culture's everything here. Like, if you're going to be toxic, you're one of the better builders I've seen, but just it won't fit for the team. So yeah, it's mostly
they've
like
got to
that.
like
It's
pass the vibe test and
pretty much, yeah, vibe and vibe alone, yeah, counts for a lot, because yeah, if you have a bit of toxicity in there, then yeah, it's not going to work. Not going to work for anyone.
So have you had some people like that yet to just kind of let
Oh,
go?
a couple, yeah, a couple, a while ago. It just didn't work for the team. So yeah, mostly look organically, and pretty quickly. So yeah,
Yeah. And so in terms of, so obviously the team's super important. In terms of your administration side, like obviously there's the element of building, but then there's you got to price jobs and you got to do your back costing and you got to do your accounts and you got to make sure that the bookkeeper's not stealing your money. You got to do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
When do you find time to do that? If you're on the tools and you guys run a lean operation, which I think is smart, but when do you find time? Are you just like late nights, early mornings?
Yeah, there's plenty of late nights, which means to an end. But sometimes I'll take a day during the week. Yeah, the late nights find hard. I'm definitely a morning person. Get the best out of me then, and then late at night, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's
especially because
definitely
you
hard.
got two young kids, right?
Yes, yeah.
So,
yeah.
so you have to come home, you have to like do the dinner thing, get them to bed, and after
Yeah.
that, get the motivation together and go sit in front of the computer.
That's it. Yeah, that's tough, but it's it's part of it. There's plenty of that. If you didn't think that was going to be part of it, then yeah, you're dreaming. It's not always going to be like that. So yeah, plenty of late nights. Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of running the business, 'cause obviously you're heavily involved now and you're running half the business, a lot of the admin stuff. What's sort of like the biggest challenges that you've had, since starting? Like, well, what were some things that you didn't quite anticipate?
Growing pretty quickly early on, now in hindsight, was probably a bit of an Achilles heel, which you heard people say, but it's until it's actually happening. Then,
At the time, you're just like, wow, this is great. I'm growing.
yeah, well, you're only reading what's in front of you. It was started at a great time. It was building was booming, everything was booming, interest rates were low. But then it's hard to keep a gauge on. The bigger you get, you're just running around trying to help everyone out, put fires out here and there. I guess growing too quick, too early, was
And what was the result of that? The negative result of that?
I guess losing a little bit of quality here and there, but then keeping your finger on the pulse. It's a lot easier to hold on to now where it's a smaller team. Can be present on every site, but a bit better. Other challenges, it's been pretty enjoyable all in all. Like, we've done some amazing builds, fun builds. And then even in this downturn, it's still, everything's still a challenge. You have to look for other ways to find work. It's not always, these architectural builds that look cool, but
Yeah.
little stuff.
Get through the kind of tricky kind of spot we're in at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you guys normally do cost plus, or do you do fixed price contracts? So how do you guys?
Yeah, we're mostly cost plus.
Okay.
Yeah, just open book. Build trust, big on trust, which we pride ourselves on. That's we get on well with most of our clients. Still have beers with them, going for drinks. We're just doing another build for previous clients now.
Over a beer.
Over a beer, yeah, of course. Helps, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's
if
true.
yeah, would recommend it. You get to know them, each other. You got to align things. If you don't understand each other, then it's going to make things difficult in any respect.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
Mm.
Okay, so in terms of your business at the moment, since you're the guy that kind of looks after after all the administration side of things, what sort of numbers do you look at that's sort of important for you to keep an eye on? You obviously mentioned before when things were growing too fast, you kind of lose touch.
Yeah,
on
a
you just
little
sort
bit.
of
Yeah. I guess gross profit margin we're always keeping an eye on. Yeah. So
And do you check that per project or overall?
sort of quarterly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping an eye on it, seeing how we're tracking. Comparatively. But yeah, I mean, all in all, just trying to keep the books full, keep jobs coming in. It's the bottom line, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you price up the work yourself, you and Cam, or do you
we
guys?
both do. Yeah. The bigger ones, we involve QSs that we work well with. So, but yeah, it works well if we quite like it. If clients early engagement's great, works really well. But a lot of the time that doesn't happen, and then it also works well if they've got a QS that they've already had. We say, okay, keep that to yourself. We'll price it. Then let's sit down and go over it, and then we can compare and see
Yeah,
how that all adds up. Because then it's another reference as well.
yeah,
So it
100%.
works.
So you love running a business?
Yep, sometimes. Yep.
Is it
Yep.
fun? You enjoy? You enjoy being in a business.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
don't ever think like, oh, I just want to go back on the tools and not want to stress deal with any other stuff.
Nah, that's fun. Like, every now and then you get a tough client or particularly needy one, but you're always going to get one. Particularly bad one once. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
That's kind of our unofficial company saying. It is what it is. I just get on with it.
yeah,
It came from Cam actually. We
yeah. It's like a good way of just not stressing the small things and
we're presenting out this price to probably now our biggest clients, and he was running it at the start. Then he's like, this is what we think. We're going over it. It's itemized everything. They were like, great, it's all really clear. And then he just said, but it is what it is. And then afterwards, I was saying, you can't say that. And he was like, but they loved it. It was they were like, yeah, like it is. Let's go. We trust you. Let's go. Mm. So
I
now
love
it's
it.
sort of been our unofficial.
Yeah,
Which is kind of a good way to look at life. Like, what can you do? Like, it is what it is. Just get on with it.
yeah,
No matter what is thrown at you.
100%. So how do you guys? So when you quote, I'm always kind of interested to hear this. Like when you do putting your quote together and you price things up, and then you put like a proposal forward. Do you guys put like a lot of other stuff in there outside of the price, or is it just pretty much just here's the price and that's it?
No, here's the price. Like, go over it line by line. Is this what you thought? This is where we've got an allowance for this. This is what we think. Sometimes if it's outside of what the plans are, we think this usually happens. So, you could just price it exactly off the plans and submit that. But a bit of site knowledge can help. We always like sitting down with them. Don't usually like emailing a quote and then go,
Yeah,
let's talk soon. It's face to face, just sorts everything out. Dutch way, have a chat.
yeah, exactly. So do you, even through the architects, do you always kind of recommend that you meet the clients first before you price it up, or
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to kind of another vibe check and to see if you guys may? Yeah,
Definitely a vibe check. Yep. See what they want. Because they're different relationships between the client, the architect, and the builder. And vice versa. So always like to get a good read, and then get to know them as well.
yeah,
'Cause, you're going to be involved for quite a while. So you want to be on side.
yeah, 100%. So what is like success to you now? You got to this point, you've run the business for a while with a business partner, you've done well, you've gone through like super highs and then got wobbly, and now you're like, and then you figured it out, and now you're kind of going through a bit of like a market, not low for you guys, but like a market low. What now that you've kind of seen it all a little bit? What does success mean to you now?
It's always been client satisfaction. That's it. Like I always get a high out of people, enjoying our work, enjoying us. That's it. That's the bottom line. There's nothing else. That's all that matters. So, when it doesn't, if they're disappointed or if, trust is broken or if they think something else, then that's the worst. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what drives you? Like, what gets you out of bed in the morning? Like, what gets you kind of like pumped on? Which aspect of your job gets you like more pumped than others?
Like the more challenging it is, the better. I guess. Like it's if I was just doing speckies again, it would don't get me wrong, I'd love it right now, but I would get a bit over it. It's quite fun to just be pushed. Just find what you can do. See how you can figure out a detail, break it down because it can look pretty cool in a picture, but it's coming up with a way to build it is something else.
Yeah. And what is and if you look at like a Cam, your business partner, what drives him?
Yeah, he's an incredible builder. So he'll just get on and crack on and do it. What drives him, I guess, good question. Good days fishing. He's just pretty chilled. Just nothing ever seems to phase him. Just which is admirable from my side.
Yeah. So would it be fair to say you're the kind of like the business side and he's like the building side? Not in terms of what you do.
Yes, yes, it is more on that side. Yeah.
Who spends the most time in like Xero or whatever?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's kind of more old school, like the builder wants to make sure it's good and like keeps it simple.
Yeah.
And you're
I'll be
thinking
the details, man. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd love being on site as well. Actually building it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you see the opportunity for your business, over the next few years?
More architectural builds. Anything and everything basically. We're sort of yes men, so yes to whatever. There's different opportunities present themselves. Like I said, the Eden Park thing, they're a great team to work for. So
cool.
I'd love to keep that going as well. Ideally stick with the architectural stuff. It's the challenge is there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get any free tickets?
Eden Park?
Yeah.
They help us out. Yeah. Which helps.
So I'll know who to text next time when I go.
Yeah.
I know the All Blacks Springbok game's coming up.
I know. Yeah, we fly out the day before that. So
oh, real? Where are you going?
Noosa. So it's not so bad. But like first world problem. That's the test match you want to be at.
I know, right? Because Eden Park hasn't seen the Springboks in a long time.
Yeah, that's the one you want to go to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's been good chatting. Like, so you have a family, you have business.
Yeah.
Assume you got other hobbies and things that you get into.
Golf.
Golf.
Yeah.
Golf, man. Oh, I love it.
Pretty simple. Basically, work, family, golf. Not in that order. Probably go family, work, golf. But
how often a week, or how often do you play golf?
Oh, not enough.
Yeah.
Like couple of times a month. But if I played a couple of times a week, it wouldn't be enough. It's
Yeah, I need to get into that because it takes up a long time.
Don't.
And because I need to get something. I told my wife it takes like about 7 hours to play around a golf, so I need to get into that.
Yeah. No, you never say a time.
No.
So it depends on the group in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The group in front was so slow.
Yeah.
That's why it took so long. So how do you, the question I'm getting to is how do you navigate that family life, business life? Are you quite good at shifting between two, turning off when you need to? And how do you do it?
Yeah, I've always been pretty good at switching off. Some days not, which, my lovely wife, Gina's quite good at reading that. If I come home and, really haven't switched off yet, she might pass my running shoes and say, just here you go, go for a little run or something.
Good wife.
Yeah, fantastic wife. And my kids are my everything, they get home, they couldn't give two hoots about, if you've had a terrible day with the client or things haven't gone well, it's not their problem. They just want to be loved. So they, have a lot of time and enjoyment with them. So pretty good at switching off, and then, always having something booked, something to look forward to. I've got, a great group of friends. We've been, some of them mates from primary school.
Cool.
Get really, really a lot out of them. They're huge as well. So shout out to them.
So do you go on holiday like regularly? Do you like pre-book? Do you go on like a few holidays a year that you kind of pre-booked, or trips or whatever?
Oh yeah. We've got about 3 or 4 a year with the boys. Mostly golf trips, but most of the guys play golf, so it works out pretty well.
Laugh, this guy's you got the best wife ever.
Yeah. It's give and take.
4 golf trips a year.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, that that was advice from a client. He said, but before having kids, you establish as many clubs as possible. So, even if you don't play chess, you got a chess club, you go and do that, and then they keep going, no matter what. That was, great advice. We often talk
Your
about
wife should run like courses for other wives to explain to them how to be a good wife.
Yeah, maybe she should. Yeah.
But that's good though. I think that's really good. Like I actually started doing this thing where I break the year down into 90-day increments.
Yeah.
And I found that worked really well, because then you can just, it kind of ends up being like 85 days or whatever. But in your head, you kind of go, I'm going to go hard for 85 days.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have a little break.
Yep.
And I can reevaluate and then go again. You can set sort of short-term goals, and you can
make it more manageable.
Yeah. And that's probably what you're doing without realizing.
Yeah.
Just kind of breaking it up a bit, have something to look forward to. Because when you're like running at full speed every day, and it
catches up,
and you can get sort of that little burnout. It's not good,
No.
So you said you got you love being a dad. They mean everything to you.
Yeah.
How has becoming a dad like changed you as a man?
Oh, yeah, a lot. You think you're ready, and then you're not ready. Nothing can prepare you for parenthood. It's like I was saying off air, we had a hurricane first, so that was just full steam from the get-go. It was Zoe, so she's been a weapon from
Love it.
day dot. Yeah, wouldn't change a thing. But that, how did that change me? I guess, you grow up pretty quickly from then, whether you're ready or not. They depend on you. All of a sudden there's a lot on your shoulders, especially, single income for a fair while. So you have to make it work, especially in this tough climate, just have to make it work. So thrive on the challenge, be vulnerable as well, be open. Make it work, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And, a lot of guys go either way, like either they get kids and they get like way more motivated, way more drive. And then other dads, they become a parent, and then they kind of like realize, work's like not everything, and then they kind of like their drive decreases. Like which camp do you fall under?
I want to provide for them, so that they're my everything. So it was pretty hard early on when you're going back to work after having a first kid. You just want to be there, but then you get there and they're just screaming. You're like, okay,
that's easy. I can go to work.
Well, no, the best thing after having a week off when Zoe was born, it was going back and just being like, I've never felt or never noticed that a drop saw and rip saw is so peaceful, because you can just turn them off and they stop making the noise. At home, you can't just flick a switch and turn them off. It was all of a sudden a building site is peaceful.
Yeah,
after that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But it is cool, being a dad. Like it's definitely like the coolest thing. Like someone said to me the other day, they were like, it's actually people that never have kids, it's actually like they're actually lucky that they don't know what they're missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you don't. Yeah.
And because I mean, it's like obviously a lot of people can't have kids and stuff like that, and it's sad. But luckily for them, they don't know what they're missing, because it's really cool, when you're a dad. Like,
they're their own human as well. So we Yep, had a Hurricane and a cruiser, so it's Zoe and Finn, so it was best of both worlds, really.
Yeah.
Always thought we'd have more, and then two's enough. I don't
Yeah.
know how you had four. That's
Yeah.
credit to you and your wife.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat. Like I have an incredible wife.
Yeah,
She does a lot. Like it's one of those. Always fun. It's one of those things. Like in the morning, we'll wake up and then I'll be, if you have that like fast forward cameras or whatever, like
Yeah.
time lapses, like it's like me and then her like running around,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then we just like in one spot. That's like what it's like in the morning.
yeah,
And she's even making my coffee now for me as well. I used to make the
wow.
coffee. I don't know. She's
Yeah.
just like wants to make the coffee for me now. And so I'm just like, yeah, bring me my coffee. I'll just be over here. And then brings my coffee and then does all the lunch boxes and then gets them ready and like laundry. And
Incredible. Yeah.
so, I guess you got to have the right type of person, like wife, to be able to have 4 children.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And to do what we do as well. It's there's a lot to it. So when we come home, it's pretty nice having that support there as well.
Yeah, for sure. So for the young guys, marry right, Dan, marry right, you'll
Yeah.
be sweet. In terms of building, in terms of running a business, it's kind of it's a lonely game sometimes.
Mhm.
Obviously you're in the partnership,
Mm.
but even within that, like there's probably some stuff Cam doesn't want to know about, and you don't want to bother him with it, and sort of it's a game sometimes that can be not the easiest, and shit goes wrong and things happen. And how do you deal with that? Like when if few things go wrong in a row, you're in a bit of a slump, and you kind of you're not like yourself. How do you kind of have you ever get in that position? I should ask, and then how do you sort of snap yourself out of that?
Yeah, for sure. Just be open, be vulnerable. You can be comfortable being uncomfortable. So talking about it, always do. Like, we share everything with each other. So it's this isn't going well, this is going great. Yeah, we should do this, we should do that. Just walking front on, it's not going to go away. No one's going to help. It's up to you most of the time. So just walking front on into it and trying to own it.
Yeah, so you guys do confide in each other quite a bit, you and Cam?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Keeping an open communication.
Yeah, definitely. Because, we sort of need to know what each other's doing as well, because sometimes, other clients will come asking one of you. So, it works well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And, okay, so in terms of moving forward, like have you guys got plans of growing the business, growing the team, or is it just getting through this patch at the moment? Have you been talking about that?
Yeah, it's sort of just getting through this patch for sure. And then the rest of the year is looking pretty good. It was incredibly slow start, jobs kept getting put off, which would have been great starts to the year, but then it's all right, it is what it is. There we go again.
Yeah, it is what it is, mate.
It is what it is. So, we definitely want to grow again, get back to where we were. Definitely healthy seeing, what it's like. It's not always butterflies, and rainbows. It's, you have to hustle a fair bit to get back to that.
Be more scrappy.
Yep. Yeah, be more scrappy. Yeah, but like there's a lot of misconception, you think people see, these building companies that do all these amazing builds and just assume they don't do all the little things. But we've always done the little things, the little bathrooms, kitchens, whatever. There's decks, So there's always that little misconception of judging a book by its cover, thinking, they won't do little thing here, little thing there. But
Right.
Yeah.
Especially family and friends and stuff, for them to also remember.
Yeah.
But so last time you went when the business was growing and things started, like you say, lack of quality control, things like that. What would you do differently now that you've been through it and you've had a bit of a breathing space to kind of think about it? When the next run comes up, which is and you guys are ramming right up again, multiple sites.
Yeah.
It's going well. Architects just calling, you can't even get to it all. What will you do differently?
We've already started planning for that, better systems, better setting people up, choosing the right guys to train up. because you can see who's motivated, who's ambitious, who wants to run a job from early on. So start nurturing them, run them through the council process, because you can be a great builder but not know how all that other side works. So training the right people, getting them ready for when the right job comes, they can do that.
And
Yeah.
is there an element of like trying to free up, buy back some of your time, buy back some of Cam's time in terms of like, because as you grow, right, you can't be everywhere. So is
No.
it,
Yeah,
what's the goal there?
element of that. Not trying to do too much, put yourselves in too many places, because then trust in other people. I've always been pretty trusting. Sometimes probably too trusting, and but you have to put faith in people. You have to throw people in the deep end. That's sometimes the best way to learn.
So what's the goal? So you kind of have guys coming up, taking over as like site managers, whatever, and then you guys work your way out of that role into another role. What does that look like?
Yeah, I guess there's always we'll always be running sites, but if there's more sites, where if say we've got two that Cam and I have to be on, one each, and then there's another one, we can send someone there and not worry about it. That's ideal, because if we're having to do a big busy site and then take off and go and check in on that all the time, then that's where the time issues go.
Yeah. So you won't ever get to a point where you're completely off the sites and just running the business?
No, I can't see it yet, but yeah, it definitely is the goal. Yeah.
It's the ultimate goal.
It's the ultimate goal. Yeah. Yeah. More golf. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Get better maybe as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Has there been any scenarios? I always ask if there's been any scenarios where things didn't go to plan around pricing a job or whatever. I mean, you guys do cost plus and like that, but have you guys had any big losses in projects?
Yeah. It was a recent one. It went a bit pear shaped. That got fairly messy. Yeah, there was the approach probably wasn't that great from either side, but they basically treated it like a commercial fixed price contract and just doubled down on that. And we took a hit. We thinking we'd try and help them out, whatever. Man, they just sort of doubled down. But we were warned, prior to it, be wary. Yeah, maybe not the best people to go work for. Just be warned. We're like, nah, they're great. We've met them. They're awesome. We'd buy them a beer. It'd be awesome. So just being wary. Like we have contracts, everything in play. But it's just being wary of the right people.
It's good to know the detail around these things, because other builders listening in, because they can miss out. So where was the problem? Did you guys do a bunch of extra work and it wasn't documented, and you guys, or what?
Pretty much, yeah. So like, it always happens. You start a renovation, you're pricing it off these set of plans, and then day one, changing, doing this, adding that, just go. It's all go, and then before you know it, you've had a full amendment of the plans that you originally priced, and they're completely different to how you started out. So you're trying to compare an original estimate with what's actually done, and then it can get out of hand pretty quickly.
And how would you do it now if you did it again? So if you signed that same contract and they made the changes, how would you do it different?
Just be better variations, documenting, nailing everything, every hour, every little thing, because it's a good lesson as well. You're bound to get people like that. It's not it's going to happen at some point. You can have all these great clients, and then bang, can undo all of that in a second.
Yeah. You have a lot of builders, because builders are generally nice guys, and they are too nice for their own good sometimes, where they don't follow the contract to the T.
Yeah.
Or they try to be nice. They're like, okay, we'll do this and we'll sort that out later, and we'll like, we can make that happen, or and sometimes it can come back to bite builders, because it comes from a place of wanting to be accommodating and helpful, and
Yeah, and there's the monetary side of it as well, but then it hasn't gone well, and that's the part that hurts the most, because you want to make them happy. You're trying to build their dream, so that's the part that probably hurts the most. It's yeah.
feel like a kicked puppy or something, eh? Like you kind of, I did it,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
I did my best here. Now this is how you reward me.
Oh, there's blood, sweat, and tears into
Yeah.
it as well, and then yeah, is what it is though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a positive note, what sort of that we can leave on is like what advice do you have now? You've been in business a little bit. There's some guys thinking about maybe going out on their own.
Yeah.
It's obviously an interesting time as well. But they sick and tired of working for someone else. They want to go on their own. They're ready. They've been thinking about it for years now. They're going to do it. What advice would you have for someone making that transition?
Yeah, comfortably grow. So, progressively don't bite off more than you can chew. Be prepared, the lessons, the best lessons will be the hardest lessons. You think you know this and that, but the best lessons you'll get from something that didn't go well. That's just how it is. Yeah. That's basically it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, eh? And like, grow slow, keep your overheads low is what, and it's all within that. And you keep the ego in check, eh? That's also a big one.
Big time, yeah.
Because,
the ego regulating is, definitely more on Cam's side. Well, there isn't one, so it's just, if he had an ego, then it would be a lot harder, but he's just always level-headed, which, I can feed off that a lot, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Cool. My last question is always, did you have fun?
Had a lot of fun. Yeah. Great
Awesome,
Friday
man.
Arvo.
Yeah, it's great to meet you, and thank you so much for coming on. I think a lot of guys would have got a lot out of that.
Yeah,
so I appreciate
thank
it.
you for putting this out. It's helped us a lot. It's helped a lot of builders. It's a great platform, because you listen to these things and you think, well, these guys have gone through, exactly what I have. It's, you think you're the only one, but it's definitely helpful for the whole industry. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Cheers.